Before Power Rangers took the sci-fi superhero theme by storm, there was Gatchaman, the legendary 70s anime that was known in the West under names like Battle of the Planets or G-Force. At its core, Gatchaman is about a team of 5 young heroes in bird-themed suits that fight against an evil organization that's bent on world domination. It's a brilliant anime loaded with insane details, from hidden influences on modern anime to twists that completely altered how fans viewed the show. Stick around till the end of this video because we're diving into 12 insane facts about Gatchaman that you wouldn't want to miss. Number 1. Human Shuriken Attack. If there's one thing Gatchaman never shied away from, it's throwing logic right out the window, and the Human Shuriken Attack is no different. The Gatchaman team already has its signature combo move, which is the Tornado Fighter. 5 superheroes piling onto one another and stacking themselves into a human pyramid that's very reminiscent of cheerleader moves, and then they begin to spin so fast that they become a human tornado that's ready to destroy everything in its path. That's right. Physics? Ignore those. Gravity? What's that? And then, when you feel nothing can top this genius-level lethal move, then comes the Human Shuriken. Enter the enemy ninjas, who are basically 4 assassins who don't just fight individually, but literally fuse into one giant spinning human shuriken. This absurd yet funny move can be seen in an episode of the first series, Science Team Gatchaman from 1972. However, it's hilariously horrifying, full marks to the over-the-top creativity that gave us this amazing movie. What makes this sequence so fun isn't just the spectacle, it's the weird competition that if the good guys have a tornado, then of course the bad guys need a weaponized ninja frisbee. On paper, it may come off as goofy, but on screen, with the fast cuts and dramatic music, it's a bold move. And the best part? It worked. Fans still remember this episode as one of the most gloriously bizarre villain counters in anime history. 2. Lava Jesus Robot. Next up on the list is one of Gatchaman's most controversial scenes, and that is the Lava Jesus. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. The episode opens with a sculptor painstakingly carving a giant granite face of Jesus Christ in a Mount Rushmore style. And obviously, considering it's Gatchaman, the statue doesn't end up at an art exhibition, but is instead hijacked by Galactor, who bolts it onto a lava-powered mecha and unleashes it on the unsuspecting city. So now, it's not just a regular giant robot that the group has to defeat, it's a molten lava spewing statue of the Lord. The sheer audacity of strapping a religious icon onto a giant robot of all things just shows how far the creators were willing to push the boundaries in search of spectacle. What's especially wild about the whole thing is, from a Western perspective, while this imagery may border on blasphemous and sacrilegious, since Christianity wasn't a dominant religion in Japan during the early 70s, this idea instead stemmed from a "bet that'd look cool" perspective, rather than any deliberate jab at the religion. And this is that anything-goes kind of creativity and mindset that defined 70s anime, when things weren't taken oh so seriously and considered offensive enough to get cancelled. And the result? One of the most weirdly hilarious episodes in Gatchaman history. To this day, the Lava Jesus episode is remembered less for its fight scenes and more for the sheer "did that really happen" factor. 3. Poison Gas Christmas Gifts. You'd think a Christmas episode in anime would be all about cheer, snow, the holiday spirit, and maybe some heartwarming lessons about family and giving. Instead, we got an episode that ranks quite highly on the darkest holiday specials on screen. And this Christmassy episode had children's Christmas presents being secretly booby-trapped with poison gas. Now, if that's not a stellar idea for a Christmas gift, I don't know what is. Being wary of opening Halloween presents was okay, but Christmas presents? Imagine the excitement of tearing into a gift only for it to unleash a cloud of lethal gas. In Gatchaman's world, that's exactly the kind of deviously sadistic schemes Galactor specializes in. What makes this episode even more unsettling and morbid is how nonchalant the makers are in treating it as something completely normal. And for a 1970s kids show, although the angle can be seen as shockingly funny, it might have been pretty traumatizing for kids who would now be checking for ticking noises before unwrapping anything on Christmas morning. It's the insane, logicless episodes like this that highlight the lengths that Gatchaman went to bring something new to the table. If one episode had flashy, ingenious moves, the next delivered one of the bleakest holiday special storylines to ever exist. It's that eerie blend of the bizarre and the everyday that leaves the episode lingering in your head long after it ends. 4. Enemy with gender-shifting mutant origin. One of the most fascinating yet totally unsettling villains in Gatchaman has to be Berg Katse. Right from the go, Katsei is depicted as this masked guy, which adds a hint of mystery and an aura of danger to his character, leaving you with the lingering feeling that something just isn't right. And that intuition of yours is right on the money. Beneath the mask is a genetically engineered, gender-shifting mutant designed for carrying out ultimate espionage and to cause confusion and chaos wherever they go. Galactor's second-in-command, Katsei is a human weapon, an infiltrator who can blend into any setting and make a clean exit, leaving behind nothing but havoc. But Katsei doesn't operate independently. Everything they do is from orders given by Leader X, an alien AI that wishes to eradicate humanity from the world. Katsei's gender-shifting mutation ability makes them an excellent asset in a world where Gatchaman is constantly adapting to various threats that emerge. But it's through this weird yet highly ingenious ability that Katsei can manipulate both allies and enemies so skillfully. Katsei is, in some ways, the true embodiment of 1970s experimental storytelling, wherein the villains aren't just evil, they're layered with psychological complexity. His ability isn't just an added quirk to his personality, but also fuels his tragic backstory and supports his effectiveness as the perfect spy. 5. Evil Fashion Show. If there's one thing Gatchaman proves time and again, it's that no setting is too outrageous for Galactor to turn into a battlefield. And yeah, a fashion show runway is no exception. The episode starts with the queen of the small nation of Monarins deciding to host a charity fashion show to raise money for the science ninja team. Jun, who's keenly interested in fashion and design, is exuberant when she's invited to participate as one of the models. The rest of the team tags along to support their teammate and also to protect the queen. Katsei, smelling the opportunity to strike gold, devises a plan to assassinate the queen during the event. By swapping out all the other models for Galactor operatives, except for Jun, obviously, the squad turns the ramp walk into a literal war zone, what with rings that double as mini bomb launchers. The visual of assassins strutting down the runway, hurling explosives in rhythm to a fashion show, sums up Gatchaman's flair for mixing genres and tones in ways that no one else would dare, at least not in the 70s. The final showdown, where Jun faces off against the Galactor operative come part-time models, is nothing short of creative chaos with a side of dazzle. Amid the fury of accessories exploding and couture turning into weapons, the Gatchaman crew yet again establishes their victory. It's an episode so unhinged that you can't decide if you should laugh, cheer, or just stare in disbelief. 6. God Phoenix's incredible powers and flaws. Gatchaman's primary mode of transport and firepower is the God Phoenix, a supersonic plane that looks futuristic even by today's standards. It's a jet, but it looks and feels more like an intricate fever dream, wherein it doubles as a submarine for some missions while serving as a spacecraft for their interstellar missions. From the many incredible powers that the God Phoenix has, its arsenal includes bird missiles that seem straight out of an action figure commercial. It even upgrades its form and carries super bird missiles. Then comes the energy beam cannon, which is hidden behind the nose and powered by Joe's car. If you thought that was it, there's more to come. The most jaw-dropping feature of the plane is its ability to transform into a massive flaming bird, a literal phoenix blazing through the skies. This move can completely obliterate enemies or allow for a narrow escape. One minor drawback to the otherwise spectacular power is that this transformation could result in the crew experiencing extreme cabin pressure and consuming a staggering amount of fuel, making it a very risky last resort move. Oh, yeah, and if we didn't mention this before, the major drawback the plane has is that it's solar powered, meaning it's notoriously unreliable whenever cloud coverage is blocking the sun, leaving the team high and dry to fend for themselves. So, even though it's basically the sixth member of the team with its own set of amazing powers, the God Phoenix isn't without its own share of flaws. 7. Violent and traumatic finale. The finale episode of the series was anything but gentle, and instead hit viewers right in the guts, leaving them staring at their screens in stunned silence, wondering if their heroes had just gone up in flames for good. The Golden Phoenix was shown to smash full kamikaze style into the Galactor's base and burst into flames, followed by nothing but silence. Imagine for a second that you're a kid. A series that you've been really into is ending, so you're a bit choked because of that, and now you're handed trauma on a plate as you just witnessed your heroes dying on screen. After the finale, no clarity was given by Tatsunoko Production on whether the team survived the crash or not. Some relief trickled in via the 11th issue of the Gatchaman Fan Club News with a story titled Fly Forever, Phoenix Warriors, suggesting the team did survive, regaining their energy and marching on, inspired by Dr. Nambu's motivational pep talk. What really cements Gatchaman's legacy as a truly legendary anime is the uncertainty in those final moments on screen, which in itself is a harsh but important important lesson for kids to learn. There's no perfect happy ending that neatly ties all those loose threads together, and instead, this show chooses to leave it hanging in a way that leaves the audience feeling a mix of emotions all at once. 8. Realistic mecha melding. While Gatchaman is widely remembered for its wild villains and physics-defying moves, it also stood out as one of the first animes to feature a more realistic and functional approach to transforming and combining mecha. Of course, it's still completely in the realm of pseudoscience, but with the working logic more grounded. Each member's vehicle could transform using the same pseudo-energy field that powered their switch to bird style, and once transformed, their machines docked inside the God Phoenix in specially prepared berths. From the outside, the complete God Phoenix didn't look that different, with just an addition of an extra fin and a sharper nose, but when it came to battles, it was a whole nother story. On its own, the mothership lacked speed, agility, and access to its strongest weapons, but once all the pieces were connected, the God Phoenix could fire its bird missiles or even choose to transform the entire plane into the legendary Phoenix effect. In fact, the show also provided an explanation for this, stating that it resembles an electrical circuit that only works when every part is plugged in. In fact, in one episode, Jun was also seen rigging a wire for her yo-yo to mimic Ken's missing plane. The attention to small details like these was the reason this kids' show was way ahead of its time, whether in terms of fun or logic. 9. Gender diversity in villain organization. One of the aspects that kept shifting with each season throughout the series was the gender balance, but unfortunately, not in the direction you might expect. In the early days, under Berg Katse, women were a visible and crucial part of the organization, and they received their due screen presence, be it the Devil Stars, that is, the group of female operatives, and several others that were scattered throughout the Galactor's ranks. In fact, when Jun went undercover as a Galactor operative, no one seemed to notice or care that she was a woman, implying that female operatives weren't that uncommon at the time. But by the second season, the balance was completely off, with Jel Sadra, the main villain, being the only woman's representation in the entire organization. And, surprise surprise, by the time the third season rolled around, things took an even stranger turn, with there being no women in Galactor at all. For a kids show in the 1970s, this was a very controversial take, as the earlier seasons had very much shown how a female villain can be just as ruthless and twisted as a male, making their complete absence later on feel like a step backward rather than forward. 10. Life-sized robot dinosaurs. Episode 38 of Gatchaman, the mysterious mechanized jungle, took an object of kids' fascination and turned it into nothing short of sheer nightmare fuel. A museum exhibitor arrives with his dazzling collection of life-sized dinosaur models that are so realistic, the Gatchaman team is left in awe. Soon enough, however, the city is engulfed in flames courtesy of the same towering dinosaurs that turn out to be fire-breathing robot weapons in disguise. Ken begins investigating the exhibit of the magnet-powered Robosauruses, only to be captured and almost crushed himself. He escapes to get all the Gachaman together to launch a counterattack. Things get even more weird and chaotic when the dinosaurs begin shedding their skin-like shells, revealing strange mechanical bodies underneath, proving that the makers just couldn't stop coming up with ingenious and ultra-bizarre ideas that somehow just make sense and pull the scene together. For fans watching in the early 1970s, this wasn't just another Monster of the Week episode, it was truly groundbreaking. Before the Dinobots and Jurassic Park were a thing, Gatchaman had already turned the age-old fascination with dinosaurs with a side of robotic apocalypse into the quintessential Gatchaman showdowns. 11. The secret identity of Red Impulse. One of the most shocking twists that came to the fore was the true identity of the mysterious Red Impulse. Throughout the course of the series, this chivalrous squadron of elite pilots often makes an appearance in the nick of time to save the Gatchaman team. The commander of this squadron is depicted as a shrewd yet selfless guy who seems to let nothing get in the way of his mission, and the timely intervention of him and his squad sometimes makes all the difference for the team. Later on, it's revealed that the calculating and brave leader is in fact Ken's father, who was once presumed to be long dead. What starts as a tale of selfless duty transforms into a deeply personal, almost familial connection that gives the story a much-needed touch of emotional depth. Ken, the team leader, suddenly learns that the man he admired from afar for so long has been watching over him the entire time, while also living a life shrouded in secret. The whole reveal becomes all the more impactful and emotional when Red Impulse decides to sacrifice himself, all to protect the Earth, but leaves Ken heartbroken and devastated. This twist adds vital depth to Ken's character, proving once again that Gatchaman isn't just about flashy fight scenes, it can just as easily deliver a story that's soft and heartfelt. 12. multiple weird and wild English adaptations. The massive success of Gatchaman in its Japanese run would lead to the spawning of not one, but 3 radically different English adaptations, each of which was poles apart from the other. First came the most famous of the 3, Battle of the Planets from 1978, a somewhat watered-down remake that removed the violence and darker elements. The show gave more of a Star Wars vibe for the kids, albeit despite the original tone. Next came G-Force, Guardians of Space from 1987, which tried to stick closer to the Japanese plot. However, it was heavily blasted by critics for the bland voice acting and the budget soundtrack. Faithful or not, it lacked the flair that made Battle of the Planets memorable. Then, in the 1990s, Saban released Eagle Riders, which merged elements from both Gatchaman 2 and Gatchaman Fighter. This completely botched the storylines, swapped names, and gave more of a Power Rangers vibe instead. Of the 3, it fit the American theme most of all, but ironically, fans also called it the messiest of the 3. Marvelous verdict! So there you have it, 12 insane moments from Gatchaman. For a show that literally shaped the blueprint for so many of the superhero team shows that would follow, it really is remarkable just how far Gatchaman went out of the box, trying to top itself with plots and schemes crazier than the last. Be it gender-altering villains or robo-dinosaurs, Gatchaman didn't shy away from experimenting. So whether you knew it as Battle of the Planets, G-Force, or by its original name, its legacy truly is undeniable. Which of these moments or facts really made you go, what? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe while you're down there if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.